Hi guys, this is Juliet. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time of joining us, you're welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, you're equally welcome. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Today we'll be taking a look at Flexbox. Flexbox model allows us to lay out the content of our website and is a one-dimensional layout method for arranging items in rows or columns. Item flex expand to fill additional space or shrink to fit into smaller spaces. So Flexbox is basically a tool we use to arrange our items on our website. It helps the styling of HTML elements to be more easier, and it makes your work to be responsive and dynamic. So join in and let's jump
So
into it.
guys, before we start, I have written some simple code that we'll use to, follow along and learn more about Flexbox. So before Flexbox, we use float and positioning to kind of position our element the way we want it to appear on the web page. So I have written just a simple code that we use to learn about Flexbox. So before you start the Flexbox layout model, you need to, define the flex container. The green part of this is the flex parent, which is the flex container, and the boxes listed 1 to 12 is the flex items. So always have in mind that there must be a flex parent before the flex item. You must have a parent that contains the items. Okay, so before we start, I would like to comment out some of these boxes so that we can start off with a few. So our parent container, which is the flex container, the green part, we have to use the display flex. Okay, so right now the is taking effect to row. So but you need to specify the direction you want to the flex box to take. So you say flex direction, you state it to be row. So this is the position, the row position. By default, when you type the display, it's automatically switch to row. But if you want to switch it to column, now is switched to column. So with this, you basically like change the way you want your flex box to be displayed. So a flexible layout must have a parent element with the display property set to flex. That is what we've just done. The parent will set the layout to flex, and the direct child elements of the flexible container automatically becomes flexible items. So another way to stack our flex items, this is flexible flex direction column. We also have the flex direction row. So but now if you want to stack the item vertically but from bottom to top, what we'll do is I just copied that, flex direction column reverse. So it has stacked the item from 3 to 1, but if we want to do it from 1 to 3, which is the column, the first one we did, this is it. So I'll comment out this one. Then if we want to stack the item with the row, but with the row reverse, so I'll comment this out for this. So if I put row, this is how it is now. Then if you want to like stack it so that it starts from 3, we'll do the row reverse. It's kind of it's make it starts horizontally, but it will start from right to left. So let's do that. Row. I'll comment this out and do the row reverse. Yeah, this is how it starts. It starts from 3 to 1. Okay. Okay. So this is how you style your, yeah, 3 to 1. So this is how you style it. Alright, I'll comment this out now. So the next one we are taking a look at is the flex wrap. By default, items will want to try to fit onto one line. You can change that and allow the items to wrap as needed with the property flex wrap. Or you can use no wrap. All items will be on one line if you use no wrap. If you want them to still be on one line, use no wrap. Then if you use wrap, flex items will wrap onto multiple lines from top to bottom. Then wrap reverse, flex item will wrap onto multiple lines from bottom to top. So now this is how it is still in the row reverse. We want it to be row wrap. So flex wrap we want it to be wrap. Okay, we want it to be wrap. So as we go with the screen, it's becoming smaller with the no wrap, with the wrap. By default, our screen comes with the no wrap. Our style is no wrap by default. So if we add no wrap, it will not like change as we, if we add no wrap, it will not like change as we minimize the screen. For instance, flex wrap, no wrap. So you can see the number 1 to 12. The screen is just all the items we inserted, they are still on the same line. So by default, it takes the whole line, the first line. But if we add the wrap, it kind of divides it as with the size of the screen, which is cool. So if we use the wrap reverse, there's also a wrap reverse. It will wrap onto multiple lines from bottom to top. So let's try the wrap reverse. Okay, so you can see the number it switched the number from top to bottom and bottom to top. So you can see now it's, so 1 is down, 12 is up. So that's what the row reverse is. Let's take a look at the flex flow. This is a shorthand for the flex direction and flex wrap property, which together define the flex container's main and cross axis. The default value is no wrap. So comment this out. So the next one we are taking a look at is flex flow. So it's column. So if we do flex flow again, so you can see it's kind of switched the direction of the numbers from 12 to 1 down. So we'll do row. So row, and This is it. So let's try the row reverse as well. It kind of switched it from 12 to 1. So it's a combination of the flex direction and flex row. Let's okay again we'll take a look at the justify content property. Justify content property is used to align the flex item whether in the center, flex start, flex end. So right now let's comment out the other numbers. Let's leave just a few. So I'll take these ones, I'll comment them out. So I just need a few of those. So for the justify content property, we'll use it will be in the flex container as well. We'll do justify content center. It's moved the item to the center. So we can do justify content flex start. 1 second. So we can do flex start. So by default, the items comes with the flex stats. It starts from the left side of the page. So we can as well do flex end. Flex end value aligns the flex item at the end of the container. It's been aligned to the end of the container. So we can as well use the space around property. What the space around will do is it displays the flex item with space before, between, and after the lines. So we'll do justify items. Space around. Yeah, you can see it has distributed like even spaces around the items. Then we can as well use the space between. This value displays the flex item with spaces between the lines. So display justify content space between. There is spaces in between spaces. When you look at this, you notice there is no spaces before the 1 and after the 4. He distributed it evenly within the item. Alright, so the next one we'll be taking a look at is the align item property. Is used to align the flex item. So for this, we'll need to increase the height of these items to have a better understanding. So we increase the height to 200 pixels. So we've increased it. So when we do the align item, item center, it's moved the item to center. It's kind of aligned it to be in the middle. So in the middle of the container. So when we try the align item flex start, it moves it up for the flex start, and we'll try the align item flex end. It moves it down. So the flex start moves it up, the flex end moves it down. So another one we'll try again is the align item stretch. It stretches the items. Okay. Alright, so align content property. The align content property is used to align the flex lines. In this example, we'll have to increase the height of the container. So we'll increase the height to, let's say, 600. Okay, to 600 pixels, and we'll try and comment out the rest of these numbers. I'll comment the rest of these numbers. So to better understand this, we'll use the flex wrap property to set the wrap, to better demonstrate the align content property. So we use the flex wrap. So we use the flex wrap to better demonstrate it. We now add the align content space between. So as you can see in the container, it has created a space between it created a space between an equal space between them. So the next one we'll use is we'll use the space around property. So this created spaces both on the top and below and in the middle. So that's the space around property. So also try the stretch property. So as you can see, it took the default value. The stretch is the flex line. It takes up the remaining spaces. It stretches in the container and takes up the remaining places. So let's try the align content center. So it moves the items to the center, and we'll try the align content flex start. It moves it to the top for the flex start, then we'll do the flex end. By now you would have known what the flex end would do. It moves it down. The flex end moves it down. If you notice, all the changes we've made so far were made directly on the parent element, which is also called the flex container. So, but we can as well make the child element to be flexible items as well. So for instance, we'll start with the order property. There is an order property. We specify the order of the flex items. So the first flex item in the code does not have to appear as the first item in the layout. For instance, you can add a style directly on the child, and it can switch the way the numbers, like the fourth number, you can switch it to be the first, or the position of an element, you can switch it the order on which it appears. For instance, we'll put a style directly on our HTML. We'll do an inline style. So we'll add the style directly here. We'll add style order. So as you can see, the fourth number is made to be in order 1. The number 3 is still the number 3. That's my mistake. But let's make it under 2. And let's make this order 3. So the third number is made order 2. the second number is made order 3, while the third number is made order 2. So we can use the order to kind of switch the way we want the item to appear on the screen. The next one we'll look at is the flex grow. So the flex grow kind of property kind of specify how much a flex item will grow relative to the rest of the items. So relative to the rest of the item. So we'll switch this to flex grow. Flex grow property. So to have a better understanding, so the second number is stretched to 8, the first one is 4, the eighth one, let's change this to 1 so that, okay, so the first one is stretched to 1, the second number is stretched to 8, the third number is stretched to 1, and the fourth number is stretched to 3. We make it 6. It stretches more. So that's flex grow. Another value we'll be taking a look at, another thing we'll be taking a look at is the flex shrink. The flex shrink property specify how much a flex item will shrink relative to the rest of the items. So the fourth one, the shrink, it's kind of shrinks. It will shrink every other item on the page, and the 4 is the only bit occupies more space. So when you take a look at this, you will notice that it shrinks every other thing on the page except the 4. Alright, so I added to the 9 and 4, and they kind of shrinks every other thing on the page. The last property we'll be taking a look at today will be the align self property. So this property kind of specifies the alignment for the selected item inside a flexible container. The align self property overrides the default alignment set by the container's align items property. So this overrides the align item property because it is being placed directly on the child element. So for instance, we'll want to align the third element. So we'll do style. For this example, we'll use a 200 pixel high container to better demonstrate the alignment property. So we increase the height to 200 pixels. Alright, so as you can see, it's aligned the item to the center. You can switch it whichever way you like. So this is the flex end. So that's it. You can use it to align your items whichever way you like. And that's it from me today. I hope with this tutorial you'll be able to build a responsive web page using Flexbox. This helps to minimize the amount of code you need to write. It actually makes it easier to align and properly structure your web page. If you have any comments, please leave it. I'll make sure I attend to it. And I hope you come back for the next video. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Bye.